dropped more tonnage of explosives on Iraq than everything used in World War II for the entire 8 years, including the 2 nukes. Let me say that again. The 8 years of World War II fought on 3 continents, right? Europe, Africa, and Asia. All the explosives that were dropped in World War II, including the 2 nukes dropped in Japan, did not amount to the same tonnage of explosives that we dropped on Iraq in that 4 or 5 weeks of the air campaign. We smashed Iraq into the Stone Ages. We blew up their hospitals, we blew up their schools, their police stations, their government buildings, their formula factories, their pharmaceutical plants. We blew up their bridges. We smashed Iraq. And then we attacked it. 5-day ground campaign. We hooked up, we headed toward Basra. The day that the ground campaign started, Saddam Hussein sent out a communique to George Bush Sr., we surrender. George Bush Sr. said, no, too late. He sent out another communique to George Bush Sr., we surrender. Bush ignored it. He sent a communique to the Soviet Union, to Mikhail Gorbachev, and said, hey, we surrender. There's no point in fighting. We can't win. We surrender. Mikhail Gorbachev called up George Bush Sr. and said, on behalf of the Iraqi people, I'm offering a surrender. And Bush said, no, we're not taking it. No surrender. Saddam Hussein ordered the troops in Kuwait to run away as fast as they could. They confiscated every vehicle they could find, cars, buses, flatbed trucks, and they took off on the Basra highway from Kuwait. Thousands of soldiers, and then we came in, I believe primarily with A-10s, but there might have been other equipment, and we dropped incendiary bombs all across the highway and just burned them to death. If you want, you can do a Google search and you can see a bunch of burnt Iraqi corpses, because there were photographers who went and took pictures. You don't have to take my word for it. By the time it was done, we probably killed around 100,000 Iraqi civilians and probably somewhere around 85,000 Iraqi soldiers in 5 days of ground war following 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks of.
All praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Ha, Rakah Kodash, double honors, and to our apostle elders, which rule Great Millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abab ball. So this is a veteran of America's military, and he's pretty much spilling the beans on what they did to Iraq. All right, but he said that they used more weapons of destruction, of mass destruction in Iraq than they did in World War II altogether. All right, and when Saddam Hussein asked Bush for mercy, he said there is no mercy. So this makes me think of that the wicked shall get what they deserve, right? They're going to get paybacks for the works of their hands. Isaiah 3 and verse 11. Woe unto the wicked. The wicked is the so-called white man, the red devil, which they rule the world with the beast system, which is America, the whore that rides the beast being the European Union, which together they got NATO. It says, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hand shall be given him. But you're going to have to suffer the same thing that you did to all these other nations. Isaiah 14 and it says in verse 6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, which is the so-called white man, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. Alright? So everybody's going to be able to get payback on you for what you've done to all these other nations. Starting with the nation of Israel, alright, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which have been scattered throughout the world in slavery. Alright? It starts with them, but all the other nations are also going to be able to get a chunk of meat, a pound of flesh out of Esau. Alright? No one's going to run to his protection. It says in the NLT, it says, you struck the people with endless blows of rage and held the nations in your angry grip with unrelenting tyranny. See, so you're not going to get mercy. These wicked Edomites, they're not going to get mercy. Alright? They're going to get what they deserve. No mercy. Alright? All praise.